to the fair. Boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka.
That's all I have to say. And I'm out. And we're out.
Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll check you guys out later.
Deuces. I just showed up just to drop that. There's a shit ton to talk about, man.
There is. Holy cow. We're practically playing in what feels like a new edition with how many changes there have been.
So we gotta talk. I'm gonna start with the data slate, and then we're gonna bump back and forth in rules commentary, because some of these rules make the data slate things make more sense when you get the commentary change in rules, possibly with it. So there's a big thing on that. Meadow, we're going to talk about that too. The tournament pack also has a thing that looked like it was going to be a big deal, but it's not.
Which was that?
The fact that they explain that effectively the 1-inch blocking off rule, but then they literally have an editor's note underneath it that says, depending on the terrain set, the TOs will have to explain their terrain, which is effectively the reason that WTC and stuff like that has you can exist in walls, where you can't box people out from that. And that's not going to change.
I still like it. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
You play shooting armies.
You damn straight I play shooting armies.
You're like, I can 1-inch block out? Looking forward to this 5-hour stream. I gotta be done by 3. That's all I have to do.
I've only allocated 2 hours to this, so get going, Brad.
So let's talk about modifying stratagem CP costs and the fact that you effectively can't use it twice a turn unless it's like the Lancer that has it. I don't know anybody else. Who else has the strat in their rule?
There's a couple. So there's like Tigerius. There's people who get free counterattack or whatever it is.
Well, there's a bunch of people that can do heroic. That's true.
Yeah, there are.
But I'm
like
talking about
the champions.
Yeah, I'm talking about the base strat people. You know what I mean? Because one of the biggest things right now, guys, is if you notice, they took the restriction of battle tactic off there. So you can use stratagem, make it -1, and not be a battle tactic. And that's a big deal because there's a lot of really cool, really powerful strats that might actually go into be used a lot more, especially when you're talking about the 2 CP strats that were only used maybe once a game and things of that nature. So
speaking of 2 CP strats that can only be used once per game, they nerfed my crew.
Well, they nerfed all of them.
You can only reinforce once per game using a stratagem. That's a massive change.
Crew, IG, Never Ending Swarm, all of those.
That's huge.
Oh, it's gigantic. Cow. So that's a huge thing. The other thing, which I thought that they were going to do anyways, because they've been doing it slowly but surely, but stratagems that prevent you from being targeted, basically things that make your unit count as a lone op now are 18 inches instead of 12 inches.
Yeah, and that also impacts Groot too, because they have a stratagem like that. But doesn't the Chaos Space Marine Codex have rules for that?
Say it one more time.
Chaos Space Marines, like Nurgle Rhinos.
Yeah, I mean they basically they already changed they effectively changed it when they eroded the Nurgle strat, and everything since then has been 18. You already had it on like Carrion Draxus and stuff like that. So I think it's a big deal on this that they're standardizing it, and I like that quite a bit. You know what I mean? And what you're going to be able to use, I think that the Captain Rights of Battle was always meant to be this adaptive, very cool thing, and not a spam one strat every single turn. You know what I mean? Just jam it down somebody's throat kind of thing. So I think it's a big deal.
Well, did you see they also changed the Caldus' ability? So now it has a range.
Well, it's
only 12-inch range.
Well, it's a 12. The thing about it is it can either be a big deal for a turn, but I'm not gonna lie, a Caldus assassin shows up 12 inches from me. We're trying to make use of that aura, and I'm gonna Hancock that dude and put his head right up somebody's butt.
Hey. She identifies as a female, Brad.
Sorry. Well, somebody else is getting that. So,
No,
and
I
Robert,
think
that is what they said.
I think this is a good change. No double AOC, double grenades for Death Guard, but now I can use strats for free that I would never been able to use before.
Well,
So
it gives you more options because they took it out battle tactics. So now you can actually be creative. You can look at doing different things throughout the game. You have more options because right now you were doing whatever the most efficient thing is, and you were doing it 3 times. You know what I mean? You know, double. It just I like this change quite a bit. It unlocks the ability for you to figure out ways to make your army useful and efficient, and not just going, this is what you do with this. 100%, man. The real win, I don't need to remember which one is battle tactic. 100%.
yeah, because people would ask me that. I have no idea.
Oh, and
So,
also,
yeah.
Robert said it was right about this. He goes, the one in charge rule read as TOs do something about it. Yeah, it basically is what it is right now. So let's continue on. Do we want to jump to Sisters Points? No, we're not going to do that yet. We're going to talk about Custodes, because Custodes got a weird deal because of the rules commentary saying that a devastating wound is you can't take a save on, but then it's treated as mortal wounds. So if you have the ability to take saves against mortal wounds, you can take them against devastating wounds, not saves, I guess, but pains or whatnot, against that. Is that going to change very much? Not really.
No, it's just it clears it up. There was a little bit of confusion between devastating wounds and mortal wounds, and this is just clearing it up, so it makes more sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't mess up some abilities. It's exactly the same as before, just a slightly different wording.
AdMech people, I just got done with an AdMech. Shout out to Sean. And this is better, but the points went up. The overall feels a little bit better because you're getting +1 ballistic skill, which means that if you have heavies, you can get people down to 2s. And then weapon skill, of course, modifying weapon skill and ballistic skill is always very, very strong. And they've got that. They added, one of the biggest things they added shots to the autocannon and the las cannon, which I thought was a big deal. And they added a few hand-to-hand attacks on all the guys. I think one of the bigger things is Belisarius Call is 8-inch movement and moves through walls, which is a big deal.
And speaking of who else can move through walls, Primarchs could now move through walls.
Well. Loyalist Primarchs, thank you very much, sir.
Yes. Loyalist infantry Primarchs.
You're going to have people freaking out when you said that. You're like, Angron's walking through walls now? Surprise!
So I did see that most of the AdMech stuff went up in points. Do you think it's justified with the increase in stats?
To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure. We made a new list off basically using the basis of the old list, which he was bringing Dragoons and lots of Vanguards and stuff like that. It was a Horde type list. It does lose some stuff, obviously. I think they did Breachers wrong. They were already expensive, and they just basically came off the top ring rope and said, what about 320, yo? It's like, Jesus, dude. Whew. So,
it'll be cheaper to collect that army now.
No, it will still be the most expensive army. It's the bananas vision.
All right, let's keep going. So Eldar is all the same.
Everything's the same on the Eldar.
Agents of the Imperium, that's the same.
Same. IG did get the fact that they just get lethals on monsters and vehicles, just period. It's a pretty big deal. You know what I mean? So.
Wait, no, this. Each time model, the regiment unit from your army makes a range attack that targets a visible unit, excluding monsters and vehicles. The attack has a lethal.
I'm saying that they should. Because each time a model in the squadron unit from your army makes a range attack that targets a visible monster or vehicle, that unit has lethals.
Yeah, so your infantry with the regiment keyword aren't getting it, but sentinels or hellhounds will get it. I'm fine with that. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's all good with her. Blood Angels. Dude, Blood Angels have been like ninjas just keeping their heads down and staying away from nerfs. They might slowly but surely be elevated into best Marines by the pure fact that they're just like, nothing to see here, guys. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, there's a lot of shadow changes. So we have to keep in mind that there's new deployment zones, which help out aggressive close combat armies. Impulsors got changed, so they can actually have 7 bodies in them. Repulsors also got changed, so they can have 14 bodies in them, meaning you could attach characters in there now. So there could be an argument that Blood Angels might be one of the better detachments out today.
And Kara, I have to say that you're right on that. Shield host attachment is a huge boost for thing, and we'll talk about the fact that Venatari went down in cost. I'll circle back to that when we go to the points, because Venatari
BA 100% of a book coming. They're trying to get rid of all their old Death Company and Sanguinary Guards so they can put them in Legends.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby?
I have been right with every single prediction so far, and I'm going to keep them coming. Blood Angels are next. Death Company and Jump Packs are going the way of the Dodo Bird.
Man, why do you hate fun?
I mean, I need to add more models to my Legends.
Do you wake up and you kick Tutu? Is that what happens?
No.
Don't kick the puppies. Oh, man. All right. Chaos Knights. Chaos Knights can walk through some shit. Can already walk through some shit.
Yeah, but that's a big change, Brad. That means so you could just Kool-Aid Man with your giant shooting knight. No more walking around. It's
4 inches or less.
No, it's 4 inches or less. You move normal, which is how it is currently. If it's more than 4 inches, you still go through the wall. They can go through WTC trains.
I mean, I guess they can go through shit. Yeah, this is a big deal. Don't get me wrong. Huge big deal. However, we'll talk about the tactics against this. It's a very big deal. It's a very good thing. I think it's one of the things that needed to happen for Knights, because I always thought it was insane that they're like, I could walk right over this. You're like, no, dude, we're not allowed. It's like when you're playing a video game and there's a log across a path and you're like, path is blocked. You know, that's how it is for Knights.
Yeah.
I think this is a big deal. Is it going to be super effective? Yes, if you don't have a bunch of trash. If you have a bunch of trash, you still have to have a place to go.
I do like how there is a slight penalty, because now they introduced that big shooting knights can do actions while shooting. There is a penalty in case you roll that one, which means 80% of the time, if I were to play Chaos Knights, I'd roll that one.
Who cares? It's Battle Shock. They can't do the action, but I'm still on the other side of the wall. That seems pretty goddamn big.
You still be able to shoot.
Shoot and attack. You know what I mean? I walk through the wall and I go, hey man, remember when I was on the other side of the wall? Seems legit.
All right.
So
Chaos Space Marines.
Space Marines got a double nerf. Everything that was if you were playing Renegade Raiders, your stuff got touched. So how about that? That's what happened. We'll go to the points in a minute. All they did was for CSM.
The Warp Talons just seems the same, right? Did they have to destroy a unit and then jump back in combat?
Basically, they can.
How did this change? Is it just
Renegade Raiders had a different rule on their strat. That's it. So
Gotcha.
It's nothing. Chaos Demons got more interesting, because now all of the greater demons, all of them, 100%, get to have Shadows of the Warp. Shadows whatever the hell. Shadows of Chaos. Not the Warp, that's Tyranids. But you can bring in things 6 inches, just like you could always off Bellicor. So they can, if you bring a greater demon down, and you want to bring Bloodletters down, you want to bring Blood Crushers down, basically anything that's marked with the same mark as you are, you can use them as a locus and be 6 inches away.
So you can advance and charge, you can bring stuff closer, you know.
That's a big deal on this, man.
It is. And Bellicor went down in points for some reason.
Well, he went down, but I don't even know if I still take him at that point in time. I don't know. Yeah, it depends. So, but man, the big guys came down.
The Cornless that have been dominating the demon.
Well, the Bloodthirster got cheaper, man. That dude's badass.
Yeah, all the Cornless that have been dominating the demon builds recently have just vastly improved, and now they don't need Bellicor, so they just get more hitting power.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take that all day long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's a good change. Oh, and massive point cuts all over the place.
And they've gotten point cuts twice now, so they got a ton more shit than they used to. It's a big, big deal. Dark Angels. Sorry. I mean, they got extra AP and an extra attack on the Inner Circle champion dudes, which makes them not the worst thing ever, but I don't think it makes that much of a difference to me.
The Mace of Absolution got additional AP and then anti-monster, anti-vehicle, so they're actually pretty good at killing stuff. Power weapons will damage too as well.
Yep.
I feel like the Vow target detachment rule is easier to get now.
Oh, 100%. So that's a big deal. I just don't know if I care. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it doesn't fix this.
It's a very slow army that doesn't really have a huge amount of thing. I mean, +1 wounds always going to be a big deal. So if somebody can make this work, the only the point reduction they got was off the Deathwing guide. So I don't know if I care.
Last points adjustment, Terminators went down in points, so you could just take a bunch of regular Terminators. I'll benefit from this. Like,
right?
You can get a lot of Terminators.
You can get a decent amount of Terminators. I just don't know if in this meta right now. We'll see. I mean, maybe this makes it. I like Dark Angels quite a bit. I think they're cool from a storyline point. So
then we got Death Guard. No more multiple grenades.
Oh, I mean that we already had that. So
yeah, but it used to be where Kyle was throwing 5 grenades per turn.
True.
Well, you can only do it once.
Right. It's all good. Drakari or Drakari, Imperial Knights, the same. They just have the movement things we already talked about with CK. Grey Knights are mainly we're going to talk about with the points that they got. Oh yeah, that's true. The Lion can walk through walls now. So maybe that was one of the biggest things with the Lion is the fact that he was just a monster. So he was always just ineffective at getting places.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably still just not worth the points, but it does at least make him as an option for sure. That's a big deal on that. So
he's still too expensive though, Brad. You're never going to see him.
Probably. I mean, but at least it gives him some playability.
Yeah. They are not infantry. They are monsters that can walk through walls.
Yeah, which I still don't think. But whatever. It is what it is.
So Grey Knights, they change Vortex of Doom, so you have to be visible. Well, not visible. You have to be within a certain range, and it doesn't impact lone op, which is pretty...
Which they basically tried to make it so that people weren't getting around lone op. So
yeah,
it is what it is. Remember, if you play a 3,000 point game, you get 6 blood tokens or grudge tokens.
So when does the new infiltrating unit come out? I thought it was already released.
Same thing, but I've been waiting for it.
Okay.
Yeah, Call. I would say Call also goes through. We were talking about that though. So let's go down.
Hypercrypt.
Nothing.
Well, this is new. They changed. You can't do it on monsters, the Hypercrypt strat.
Yeah. So
how you feeling about those orcs, Brad?
I feel fantastic about my Warhorde orcs. Thank you very much.
Completely skirted all these changes.
Yes, I did. I dodged like Matrix that shit. You know what happened to my list? I lost 2 Meganauts. There you go.
So I think Green Tide is still fine. I mean, you don't have the reroll ones.
So,
but
it's a big deal on that because let's go over the changes to it. So It has a 5-up invuln as it did before, only if you have 10 or more models.
Yep.
So most of the time you're going to have this, but it goes down to 6 plus invuln if you have less. Mm-hmm. And they took away the reroll ones. Big deal. Now, both of the strats got crunked because Tide of Muscle used to be +1 to the charge per the round. So if it was turn 4, you got +4 to the charge. Now they did give it that you get a reroll to the charge just built in now. So it's still a pretty goddamn good strat, but it's not 5-inch charges making it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big deal on it. So the go get 'em is a huge deal on this. So it used to be, now this is the one, it's basically the surge, the blood surge move that they have a strat for. Now it used to say if there was 10 or more models, you auto move 6. Now it's just D6 and re-roll the D6. So it's no longer guaranteeing that huge move. And that's a big
so
deal.
you could potentially roll a 2 and then get a 1. So it could be worse.
Right. So big deal on that. The tight muscle strat, still good. Go get them. Ooh, it's very random on that. And then Mega Knobs went down to a 5 up to no pain. I think that everybody just saw that one coming, so that, meh, it is what it is.
Is that enough with the 5+ feel no pain plus the points increase for Mega Knobs? Is that enough to get Bully Boys knocked down a peg? Or do you still think it's the best attachment? Or the most popular attachment?
I'd have to play more. I thought Wildly the Green Tide was the best.
I still think they are. They got like no points increases.
I lost my, what War Boss abilities did I lose? Am I missing something here? What did I lose on War Boss abilities? Oh, I haven't even gone over that. That's, I don't understand. I gotta get my chi together for some of that stuff. Because they are just weird. You just ask your TL for auto rolling it. How people are ruled that start in a transport, then get out kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to be a thing, but whatever. Because all your stuff activates when you're on the board, you know what I mean? So it's all the same.
So Ironstorm got
Ironstorm got smoked.
Yeah.
So
It was a sledgehammer.
Ironstorm had both of them went down in cost at least, but both of their enhancements stopped being auras, and you chose one in the
Yeah, so these went down in points. However, all the units that people were taking a lot of, like Storm Ravens,
every one of them got nuked.
Everyone is up in points by a substantial amount, like 20+ points. Like that's a lot. That army's been nerfed. I do not think that one's gonna be as popular as it has been.
Someone has to say, what GW ruled in favor of the fact that you just don't activate, I don't know, like, so you don't get your attacks? I don't know.
I have no idea what you're referring to or talking about.
The rules for transports right now are just bad. It's the one thing I hate about that right now.
Okay.
Like the way that things count when they're inside a vehicle, when they say that they're not on the board kind of thing. It
Gotcha.
Makes no sense. So
they did get rid of that silly interaction with eliminators jumping in and out of an impulsor and shooting twice.
Yes. It's all of the not whatevers.
I'm cool with that. That was a dumb ability.
Desolation or 5s, we already said it was from last time.
Impulsors being 7, I think that's a big change. It's a welcome change.
Well, it should have always been there. It means
like,
you could put a character in there. It's so stupid that you couldn't before. Impulsors is 7, big deal. The fact that they
buy an impulsor now.
Well, I mean, a repulsor actually going up to 14 is actually a cool thing too. They should make some seriously weird things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, Space Wolves.
The sagas, Champions of Rust is still meh.
Well, they've changed it again though, Brad.
Yeah, I know. It didn't change my mind.
I didn't read any of them.
It is what it is. Let's just go to Dataslate. Let's go to the thing. Champions of Rust is still just bad. It's still I can't even say it's bad because it's slightly better, but it's still just worse than Black Templar Vows. You know what I mean? So it's just it is what it is. It is what it is. You think Wiz is a big change? Screw it. I'll read it for everybody. You get the associated benefit. What's the difference on it now?
I couldn't tell you. There's been exactly one guy running Champions of Rust for like the past 5 weeks. So,
I mean, it's better, but it still just feels like I'd rather have Vows. Yeah, that's true. At the end of each player's turns, I get the sagas. Yeah, I mean, they made it slightly better. I'll have to play this to see if I like it at all. I still just feel like it's worse Vows.
So you just get either feel no pain or lethal hits or sustain hits. I mean,
it's better. It's better than it was by a mile. You know what I mean? They've had to pump it up twice. Completed at the beginning, yes. They completed on the player turns, which is significant. It's just better than it was. You know what I mean? 100%. I would have rather had this not be a detachment roll and be like something that you could put on your characters. That feels more somatic, flavorful. So, it is what it is. So, Thousand Suns. Now, let's go over the big ones. So, you can't double up on any one guy, which is a big deal. I think the biggest thing is Twist of Fate. So Twist of Fate now, instead of blanking your save, giving you no save whatsoever, is now going to make all of the attacks coming at you from Thousand Suns models plus AP2. Now this is a big deal because of the fact that people were allying in knights and things of that nature, and then they would just shoot the crap out of something after they took the save away and then just pick it up. This isn't happening.
I think there's some people who allied at knights who are going to be really sad with that.
Yeah, Daniel's going to be bummed. But one of the biggest things about this is now you have more defense against this. Because originally you shot a Land Raider with this, and you shot it with your Aramon unit with your Warp Flamers. And you're wounding on rerollable 5s, and typically that is statistically just going to pick it up every time. Now you're basically hitting them with AP2, and they can now get a save. Then they can also use defensive strats like Armor or Contempt against you. So Twist of Fate is the biggest nerf out of this for sure. It's a giant deal.
Like, I'm just thinking of one game that I played relatively recently where the Thousand Suns player did Twist of Fate on my unit of Crisis Suits that were in cover and were reducing incoming AP by 1 because of the Enforcer, and he was able to pick up the entire unit of Magnus. Now, because Magnus doesn't naturally ignore cover and he doesn't... You're
effectively getting +2 to your save.
Yeah, and they would have survived. Like, I would have had a 4+ save against all of his attacks.
And then because of this, exactly, Kara, because of this, you're not going to do things like Temsuro Surge multiple times, because any one person can only be targeted by a Cabal once, period. So you can do double Doombolt, but it's got to be on 2 different guys.
So no 36 inches of movement. So
yeah, that's a huge deal also. And one of the bigger things on this is Doombolt can't just snipe out lone ops. Now, pay attention to this though, because it's excluding lone op that are not part of an attached unit. So if you basically put fake lone op, strat for lone op, or if you're in a character, I don't know, a librarian with a unit of infiltrators, they can still just target you. You know what I mean? Because it's not a shooting attack. Because it's not. Because it's lone ops that are not part of an attached unit. So if you're a part of an attached unit, you're still getting dropped.
Okay, interesting.
They're effectively just trying to make it so Doombolt doesn't snipe out lone op characters that are by themselves. You know what I mean?
I mean, this helps out the, what's it called?
Lieutenant with combat weapon.
All of the lone op units in the tablet.
I was just about to say, Lieutenant with combat weapon, Ghost Keel, any of those guys. Snick Rock,
Lone Spear, Firesight
Changeling, any of these people.
Shadow Sun.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal on that. And then the Exalted Sorcerer doesn't have half. It just -2 from move, -2 from charge. So
was it always excluding monsters and vehicles? Or is that a new addition?
That one I have to remember. I think it was always, because they just dropped the infantry all the time.
Okay, because I had somebody do that against me, against a Piranha. And a Piranha is a monster and vehicle, so that should not have happened, if that is the case.
So it's a big deal on this, because now, does this kill Thousand Suns? I don't know. I mean, it obviously makes them worse.
They're fine. They went down in points too.
Yeah, well, they went down in their points that are... They barely got anything. Most lists are going to gain 15 points. So, I do like the changes to Tyranids, and we'll talk about these when we get the points also. So,
Tyranids slap now, Brad.
Well, it's one, their Battle Shock, they're taking a 3d6, which is nice, but they add +1 to strength. I think one of the biggest things here, I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom on this, because the Hive Tyrant, holy jeebus, the Walking Hive Tyrant straight up gives assault and lethal hits to anybody's ranged attacks that's within 6 of him. That is bananas, especially when you're talking about bringing Hive Tyrant in the middle of Ending Swarm, for instance, and you just volume fire people. and you're also popping like reroll ones and stuff like that. Whoo! That's a huge deal on that. Very, very big. They gave +2 OC to all the people in the Behemoth's detachment. So that's a big deal on that. But the other thing right here, Matt, is they gave, Synapse to Neurolictors. They've got the fact that a Neural Tyrant can go to Zoes. And they buffed up the extra guns and weapons. You know what I mean?
They added Vanguard Invader to Molochs, Raveners, and Trigons.
Yeah.
That means you can infiltrate them and take them off the table.
Yep.
And Raveners, they slap.
Raveners
I'll
do
take
slap.
a redeploying, infiltrating Moloch.
Moloch is legit, dude. He's got 1 billion attacks.
Yeah, just wait till he's 9 inches away from you and charging turn 1.
I mean, I like some of this, man. I do. I think it's pretty tasty and delicious. So I think that these guys they have some real play. You know what I mean? So we will see on this. I just think that it's legit.
So before we look at points, and there's a lot of points changes, which army do we think made out the best?
Just in
from
the trips in the data slate?
Just in terms of the data slate.
I mean, to be honest with you, Custodes just getting a save versus dev wounds or a fatal pain, you know what I mean, is a big deal for them. As far as nerfs go, I think Thousand Suns probably got hit the hardest. If you're going to go with who got hit points-wise, or not points-wise, but rules-wise, Thousand Suns got hit the hardest, Orcs got hit the second hardest. And who made out?
So who's most improved?
Tyranids. Adding lethal hits to basically your army. You got to think that if a Hive Tyrant's just sitting in the middle with his big-ass base, and you've got people trailed out to him, that's gigantic.
It is just shooting, though, so we do have to acknowledge that it's just shooting. You're not getting lethal hits on your Hormagon attacks, but
you're getting them on your Termagant attacks with your trash shots. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just you're just lethal hits might be one of the best keywords in the entire game. Demons got really good stuff too.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Tyranids and Demons definitely got above Orcs, Space Marines.
I mean, you can't just ignore AdMech. They got a lot of good stuff. You know what I mean? Because they're basically when you're putting people in Protector and Conqueror, that is a big deal.
So how does that rule work? Does it you choose something in your command phase? Is that how that works?
Yeah, you're basically putting yourself in either.
And the whole army picks one of these.
Yeah, and then you can change them depending on it's as always AdMech's a little complex for how things work because you can change them depending on who's where. So huge deal on that. Let's go to points.
All right.
Sisters barely got touched. Doesn't even know.
Barely. Nothing. I do like.
This
I know
army's
that
still
Brand,
fantastic.
but did you notice that now they have orange?
I love it. It is true.
Tell me where the orange line is, Brad.
I'm not even going to talk about that. Matto, the Matto Super Chat. Who at GWHQ was getting wrecked by Pennant Engines? They lost advance in action. Tank Shock, it went up 20 points each. They massacred my boy. Do I have that? I need to know if I have
that. And Mortifiers went up 15 points for some reason. I don't know why. I actually, between Penitages and Mortifiers, between the points increases and the change of Tank Shock, oh man.
No, that's not right. You know what? You can call me out on that. He goes, Loud Brad thinks that lethal hits is the best keyword to get. Space Wolves get free RV-wide lethal hits. They think Space Wolves is not good. Not right. Not true. We're still thinking about taking Wolf Jail as part of our team. I think Space Wolves are fan-diddly-fasting. Literally, you're taking a lot less shit. I think that this army is still going to bang. I just think it will.
Can someone tell me how many points were Repentia before today? Wasn't it 140? Like, I believe Unit 10 was 140, and the fact that they're 180 now is just insane to me.
So, basically, I'm gonna run Flame or Shield. Repentia were a $120.
Oh shit! So they went up 60 points. That's a lot.
You deserve it.
So someone needs to confirm that though.
You should have repented harder. Faith in the Emperor would have carried you.
They need to stop eating those crab legs. So I plan on taking Sisters of Battle to ATC, but I haven't made a list yet because I was waiting for the points to come out. But people telling me that the list went up 300 to 400 points, it's a little bit of a concern.
Yes, I still think they're going to be good. I think they would have been OP if they didn't do anything.
Oh yeah, they're probably B tier now. I think they're fine. They still have Miracle Dice. They still have plenty of stuff. I think Bringers of the Flame detachment's probably hands down the best detachment now.
I mean, Catherine plus Flame, I mean, literally going 15 plus D6 and then doing stuff seems legit. So.
Is Catherine even a necessary now, though, Brad?
Yes.
That's a lot of points.
Plus 2 movement is just too good. And she also gives you a 6 for Miracle Dice, dude. She just gives you a 6. Like, here you go. Thanks for playing.
Oh, so, yeah, Sisters definitely do not have trash anymore. It has to be a streamlined, optimized list. Like, that trash was going away when they lost Crusaders, but now it's even worse with other units that you could consider trash shooting up at points.
I mean, this one is not even a let's talk about what went up and what happens. This is just the army went up a lot, and we'll have to start making new lists. 100%, I agree. Triumph is an auto-included anything less than 250. I said that last night.
Before these points, I was like, that you're missing a very key definition.
She's still too good, dude. A free 6 for Miracle Dice and plus 2 movement is insanity.
Have you ever thought about rolling better?
I can't roll better than making your army just move faster.
Yeah.
She's so
it's close
ridiculously
to 200
good.
It's so expensive.
You're just taking her. She's nuts.
Let's move on. I'll have to reread that data sheet. I'm not seeing it.
You should get drug tested right now because you are clearly on crack cocaine. Custodes, biggest winner here, Venatari. Woo! They went down 35 points. This guy
for 3 or 6.
For 3. So I'm just saying, going down 35 points for 3 dudes is a huge buff, and these guys are legit, man. 5 attack, strength 7, AP 2 damage on the charge with Lance is legit, and these guys can rapid ingress for 0. You know, I think that 3-man squads are going to be boss mode. So I think the Vennies are definitely rocking. They're back on the menu, baby. They're back on the menu. These guys are just legit. I mean, they always are going to get their points. They like rapid ingress for 0. Yeah, and shield us. They're just going to be legit. You know what I mean? I think that they're 100% going to get their value. I don't know on the 6-man, but I know for sure that 2-3-mans are going in any Custodes army I'm building. Just because you get legit value out of it. So I think that's a big deal. Some of the Agamatus and the Aquilans went down, but I think that the big winner here is the Benatar. You're a crackhead, Brandon.
I don't see it.
Next
you're going to try to convince me that Gilliman's worth his points.
How is an aura of plus 2 movement and getting a free 6 of Miracle Dice every turn is not just banana pants?
Because you have the ability to advance and shoot, which is plenty, especially when you're 20 inches away from people.
It gives you movement wins games. Having more movement is insane.
Hey. Maybe Brittany likes that extra 2 inches.
She fucking loves it.
So you think Custodes are good? Now, which guys are the Venatari? Are those the jump pack ones?
Jump pack guys. Jump pack guys. They move 10 and they are rapid ingress for free. So it's a big deal. So
Playmaker's in here. Did you know he found a team for ATC?
Well done, sir.
He's gonna be rocking a cow jersey.
Nice. AdMech. AdMech got better rules and everything went slightly up in cost. So, like the list I was just working on went up 200 points total. Is the new rules going to compensate for that? We're going to have to put that on the board. You know what I mean? 100%. They do have significantly, their stuff is better. Is it better enough to warrant having less units? Not 100% sure.
So how much did it go points wise? Like 510 per unit? Like...
It's like a lot. It's just 510 all over the place though, and you have, especially if you're running especially if you're running like a horde based army, which is the one that was performing the best. You just end up losing. Like I said, you end up losing about 200. It's literally everything went up, and some of it quite a bit.
So are they better than they were before?
Yes, with question mark. You know what I mean? They definitely have better rules now. You're hitting more. Yeah, I mean, you're getting ballistica.
You're hitting more. You're shooting more.
Yep. So we will see on that.
All right.
So it's a big deal on that.
Brad's
Titanicus, keep going.
Your favorite detachment right there.
Going past. Eldari. This is my favorite because they literally made random stuff slightly lower, or went down, and then they went everything that you're actually playing went up in points. Like all of them. Spiders, Reapers, Hawks, Fire Dragons, Yvrain. All went up.
Eldari's beating the dead horse. Like, were they winning that much where they needed to have
oh god no
their last remaining units increase in points?
Everything that shows up on the board that people take all the time, bonk. Cali Sass is probably dead, yes. I have no idea, Matt. They went, hey, what is everybody taking in the current Eldar list? Well, screw you. How about this? 41 minutes.
Wraith Lords went down though.
Like and subscribe. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how Fugin didn't go up in points because he's still auto include in the Eldar army.
Reapers are probably yes, probably. The indirect air. We're going to talk about that too. We should probably. I don't want to go through the entire rules commentary thing to get to that.
Well, let's finish the points, and then we'll probably have about another 45 minutes after that, and then we can talk about the highlights of the rules commentary because there's a lot. There's a lot.
Well, yeah, you also have to find them though. They don't have a fucking change log, man. That shit drives me crazy. You're like, hey man,
they at least put some little plus symbols in it and do it.
They're like, hey man, you want to try to find the rules changes? Go ahead. I hope you're a private investigator.
So are Eldar finally nerfed enough?
I thought they were already in a perfect spot. This kind of was just...
This does seem like, a little much.
You're like, hey man, remember when you guys were ridiculous? Well, here's me kicking you one more time.
For good measure.
Agents, whatever. IG. Armored Sentinels, Basilisks, Casterkins, Rogaldorans, the Manticore all went down. Basically because,
good, though, right?
Well, I mean, the indirect got the nerf, you know what I mean? So that they didn't have to randomly add points to the poor Manticore anymore. It went down 5 points.
So, all right, let's talk about that nerf. I don't see how it's that big of a deal.
Oh, you just miss on 1, 2, 3s?
Yeah, but all these tanks naturally hit on 4s.
No,
if they're heavy, they get +1 to hit.
Yeah, but they can also get the +1 BS.
So they just hit on 4 pluses like intended instead of 3 pluses. I don't think that's a big of a nerf, especially when your indirect pieces all went down a reasonable amount of points.
And that also goes, I got to put a point on that too. They also lost lethals on 6s. It's a big deal. You know what I mean? So, yes, they are worse. Also, it's like bonkers hot. But IG's still fine. It can do a lot of stuff. I think they're going to be fine.
So what direction would you be able to list it now? Because I know there were some lists that were recycling guard endlessly. That's gone away.
My thing is that I would still bring multiple infantry squads of any, however you want to bring them, Cadians, Catechins or whatever, or just regular. Then I'm going to have a decent amount of Leman Russes. You know what I mean? I'm just going to make this a basically combined armor force. Bully grins are still good to get in the way. just shooting. They can still score really, really well. This list was already doing, you know what I mean? People were bringing guard squads, bully grins, big tanks, you know what I mean, and trash, and it's just doing well.
I think Armored Sentinels are going to see more play. That's a unit we just haven't seen on the table.
I think Armored Sentinels are fantastic. Well, you can only regen once now, but...
So you put it on them.
Yeah, well, if you have like a 3-man...
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you do. So, scrolling down, Black Templars. And everybody's Reaper and Reapers, Gladiators, and Lancers all went up.
They all went up by like, what, 10 points?
Well, these went up, like, all of them are exactly 170 points down the thing. I don't know why they made the Valiant go up to $170. That was the cheap one before.
So why do they go up in points? Okay, let me look at Codex Space Marines to see if they're also 170. Because I sure hope not.
Well, these are the ones that always get the multi-mounts because they're Black Templar version. Blood Angels. Blood Angels put the hat on, put the glasses on, and said, nothing to see here, boys. Nothing to see here.
This is the sign that something's happening later this year. Them and Death Watch. I feel like either one of them is getting a new codex before the end of the year. Enjoy Blood Angels while you can. I'm calling it now.
Screw you, Brandon.
You can clip this. Death Company Marines and Sanguinary Guard are going in the dumpster fire.
What a dick, man.
I'm telling you. I'm calling it right now.
Why do you hate Sunshine and Apple Pie so much?
Sell those models before they go to Legends.
What do you just listen to the Smiths all day and just get sad about things?
Price to move. Buy the firstborn. Nothing to see here. No, like, okay. So at the end of 9th edition, they did the same thing where they lowered all the points and they just gave away free war gear and everyone bought off the old Space Marines and then they put everything into Legends. This is the same exact pattern. I'm telling you, they're gutting this army. It's gonna be worse than Dark Angels.
Man, you know, you
accept it.
I'm not
Brad.
accepting it all. You know what? Where's my God damn it? This is not happening. I'm putting you don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. That's happening.
Brad, every single prediction I've done on one of the streams with you has come true so far. I'm calling it now. I'm gonna go for like 5 for 5 on predictions.
You're full of sadness.
I called Sisters. I said 15 to 20% increase, and guess what happened? A 15 to 20% increase. Not even a play tester.
You know what? We're talking about demons. You know what? You're not going to spoil my fun day.
Enjoy Blood Angels while you can for the rest of the summer. They're 100% getting a codex by October.
Man, you're evil. Get away from evil, man.
Hey, we'll get new Sanguinary Guard models. Probably be a unit of 3 to 6.
Jesus. Demons went down. There you go. Demons got down. Demons got better.
I don't think demons needed to go down. They got all these buffs and went down. That's.
I mean, they barely went down. Nerdlings didn't really go down. Nerdlings in squads of 6 and 9 went down.
Can we talk about that, Brad? So in the Meta Monday or whatever the article was, where they were talking about like the changes to the rules that are upcoming with the data patch, they said that all the OC0 units were going to go down in points. None of them went down in points.
Yeah, they did. You just have to take giant units of them.
None of them went down in points. In fact, some of the more notable ones increased in points.
You know who did go down in points? The Bloodthirster. Boom! That dude rocks. Plus with the new rules. Guy kicks ass. Scrolling. Chaos Knights. Big boys went down. Is this going to make you take more big boys in Chaos Knights, or is it still going to be a small guy banana?
Maybe one. I think one. The quantity of war dogs that they can get still makes that the better style of play. But I think you take one big shooting one and then just take a bunch of war dogs.
Agreed. Chaos Space Marines. If you were playing Renegade Raiders, everything in your army went up. Havocs went up, Venom Crawlers went up, War Talons went up, Legionnaires went up, Predators went up, Mitigators went up. Stuff went up. Is Chaos still going to be fine? Yep.
So this past weekend when I was playing my crew Mr. Sean Dice with Rice almost lost a game to the Vashtor detachment.
I think you meant to say Sean Dice with Rice.
No, Dice with Rice. And all those models that guy had, they did not go up in points.
The Venom Crawler. That army is actually legit. Getting extra attacks, getting extra everything is a big deal.
No, he had like the big corn engines. He had Mauler Fiends.
No, but that is literally what they get. Yeah. They get extra attacks, just base. So it's a big deal.
These points don't seem that they increased that much, except for the Warp Talons.
Warp Talons went up quite a bit.
Yeah, they went up 50 points for 5 or 10.
Yeah, that's a big deal. But everything else is not that big of a deal. I think that they realized that the Warp Talon's ability was pretty bonkers. So, Kenneth Smith coming in with $4 super chat. Brandon is definitely Horus. Keep thy heresy to thyself. New Sangard, though. Yeah. Step away from the angels with your hands where we can see them.
I'm Kosoro Khan. I'm Horus.
You are a traitor, sir.
No, I just call it like it is.
Traitor. Keep your heretical remarks to yourself.
Dead. I have to increase my Legends cabinet with Death Company and Sanguinary Guard. Don't worry, guys.
Oh, man. Dark Angels.
I mean, I have 2,000 points of Jump Marines behind me. They're going to be Legends soon. It's going to be great.
Jesus. I don't like this at all. Deathwing Knights and the Dark Shroud both went down. And they also got buffs to their weapons.
They went up. They went up, Brad.
Sorry, they went up. My bad. They went up.
Not much, though. Not much.
They went up and they got increases to their weapons. I don't think they needed either one of these to do this.
The Dark Shroud is being punished for the sins of Ironstorm.
Yeah, I'm saying.
But it only went up 5 points.
Well, they also smoked Ironstorm, so like I don't understand why they needed to do this. Also, leave Deathwing Knights were already too expensive. I don't know why they put them on.
So I think they also went up like 5 points just for increased weapon stats, which
sure, but why?
It's not that big. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I'm moving on from here. Death Guard are fine.
So they made the guy who throws grenades for free more expensive, but then they nerfed the ability of how many times he can throw grenades.
They also made they nerfed the Bob Blightspawn, who's the guy that fights first. They gave him a little bit of a nerf. They brought Blight Haulers down. They brought Blightlord Terminators down. You're still always going to bring Death Shroud, let's be honest. But, nothing really changed here. I'm moving away from here. The same thing GW said when reviewing the DA rules. That's very good. Well done, sir. Deathwatch. I'm surprised that Deathwatch...
They actually did something, Brad.
Yeah, I thought they'd just give some more stuff, though, man. Like, they need a kill team review. Yeah, I mean, so...
This is another one of those armies that I think is going to be folded
absorbed.
Yeah.
I agree on this one. I think this is just going to be put in Imperial Legions.
It makes sense.
So, I'd spend more time, but I'm not. Jakari!
No, Deathwatch is not going to improve the win rates because the Deathwatch veterans went down 10 points.
Jakari! Grots of the Ravager went down. Scourges went up and down. Which means they went up because there's zero chance you were bringing 10-man units of Scourges. So
this seems like a better overall change?
It's a nothing change. The Scourges went up is effectively what happened here. And Ravagers went down. So
they probably cancel each other out because you were taking both of those anyways.
Yeah. Right? So it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's a negligible change anyways. You know what I mean? So I don't think it really changed anything.
I think this is a good opportunity right here to talk about one of the most key changes in the rule set, which is pivoting, and how dumb Dark Eldar are about to be.
Wow, dude. I'm about to go, especially, okay. Let's talk about this real quick.
Screenshot of pivoting?
I'd have to do it on TTS to give you the full mojo. So pivoting now, it used to be, you counted everything that you pivoted. Now you pay 2 inches of movement and you can just make as many pivots as you want, which means that if I'm taking a Raider, which is this long, and pivots on this base, I literally go up to the edge of the building, Rink, gain 3.5 inches of movement. Move to the other edge. Rink, gain another 3.5 inches of movement.
You did not read that rule correctly. You only pay the 2 inches of movement if you're not on a round base. All these Dark Eldar vehicles are on round bases. You don't pay a penalty.
Oh my god, technically I guess you don't. Oh my, that's so stupid. That's so stupid. So I just get free...
That panelist right there is about to get so much extra movement.
And they also have the strat so I can get out and assault after I do all this. So I just go,
yeah,
all right, Serpentine, wow. It is
Dark Eldar, Falcons, Wave Serpent, Hammerheads, Devilfish.
Dude, they're not the one that you can just abuse the most is because you can just literally it's a long stick. You know what I mean? The Raider is just so nuts.
Because a Raider's like 8 inches long, approximately. It's like 8 to 9 inches long, but the base is only like 3. And you just do all your measuring based off that, but you disembark from the hole. You could very easily get 10 extra inches of movement.
It's such bullshit that you're like, it's actually on a round base. It's not though. It's not because I'm going to be pivoting.
But it is. That's
I'm going to be pivoting
worded,
my 6-inch long vehicle on my round base. It's actually 7 inches long, I think.
Okay, but that's how it's worded now. They botched pivot. Pivot is about to be abused so much. That is probably the biggest change to the rules.
You're gonna have some very unfun moments when someone just walks around a fucking building and just gains like a bonkers amount of fucking movement.
So Matto, you measure from the hole, but it specifically carves out a rule that says vehicles on round bases. And all the Dark Eldar all the skimmer vehicles are on round bases, except for like a handful, like Landspeeder, Storm Spear. I think it's on a oval. Like all of the big obnoxious tanks are round bases.
Hey, dude, everyone.
So the Astraeus is on a round base. That means you don't have to pay pivot points.
That's so stupid. Right about the time someone's just doing this weave fucking Tokyo drift around shit, I'm just gonna have a look on my face that look like I just bit into a fucking lemon. Ugh, just fuck you.
So I think it's within reason. I think it's gonna get changed again.
You think? After they fucking realize that it. You know what? I'm moving on. No.
I'm telling you, Brad.
I'm not talking about it anymore.
And to correct you pay for each pivot. So, like, if you're a battle wagon and you need to pivot 3 times, you do pay 6 inches.
Yeah, cool.
But you said you only pay once. No, you pay for each pivot.
Great.
But it does help. It does help the battle wagon. I mean, because it's another long vehicle where rotating it 25 degrees, or sorry, rotating it 90 degrees was at 6 inches of movement. So now you get an extra 4 inches of movement.
It's like Tokyo drift all my long vehicles. You know what? I'm just gonna model my Raiders.
You only pay once? All right. That's fantastic.
It's once.
So much extra movement. It's not even funny. This is a broken rule
Fucking
that is going to be fun.
I'm gonna fight my models right now. Ooh! Ah!
You own Dark Eldar army. You like playing Dark Eldar. I'm trying to help you.
I don't want to do that. No one wants to have shitty games where your opponent's just looking at you going, there's no way that's not cheating. That seems like the cheatiest shit anybody's ever done.
How much extra movement do you think you can actually get out of this?
I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to map this on TTS tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. After tonight's show, I am 100% going to figure out how much I can scam out of moving bullshit vehicles. Doomsday Arcs, yes, Jesus Christ. Another circle base you don't have to pay for it. Fucking, woo! Fucking turd. Ah! Just, I don't know what the fuck I was saying.
I mean, what they should have done is they should have just said all movement is done from the center of the base, and then you can rotate it. That's
How
fine.
About this?
So
don't fucking change any of it and just measure it. You know, it was actual real movement. It's not that hard. Just measure where you're going.
It was too clunky. When you look at the new maps that they're releasing, it's too clunky to have to measure on all that shit. All right, moving on.
It is not. GSC.
Pivoting will be a game changer. I'm calling it right now.
GSC had a, you know what? You're banned. You're banned from talking about this. You know what? Hold on. I'm John Cena on us right now. You can't see me on this. Fuck was I talking about?
GSE. Hey, Brad, can you identify the orange lines on here?
No, I hate this. I also love the fact that they literally did on the enhancements. They have an up and down, so I just go, who cares?
Those are the orange lines.
Sweet.
I think they could have picked a different color, like I don't know, blue or purple.
How about just fuck you, Brad? That's what we're doing. Some of this other shit needed to go down. Aberrants needed to go down. I'm glad that your pure strains went down. I think this army's slightly too expensive for the rules that it got. I think that all of it needed just a little bit more. That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
I am not a GSC main, but I feel that they needed.
I mean, they dramatically changed their play style too. So
right.
Who knows?
I just think that this army needs more shit. That's what I feel about that. And I think none of this shit needed to go up, to be perfectly honest. Like all the characters went up. Grey Knights.
I mean, that's based off the Codex points too. So that's.
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. I think they just needed more stuff, to be honest. And I feel that the GSC players would agree. They're few and far between. Dread Knights went up again, is basically what happened here. And the Storm Raven and the Redeemer went up because of collateral damage to Grey Knights. So
I will say their Dread Knights did get a massive buff last time they did an adjustment where they got better weapons and they had lower points. It makes sense to me that they went up a little bit.
It's fine. You know what I mean? I think this army's still fine. You got a good army that's got 2-up saves everywhere. It's still legit. I mean,
I would take Grey Knights to a tournament.
100%. I think that the actual guys are underrated. Mm-hmm. So don't get me started, Carmona. Imperial Knights. They've got the extra movement through walls and things of that nature, and the big boys went down. Some of them went down. I think this army, with the new missions, with the new way we use secondaries, I think that knights of all flavors are better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
will
100%.
they see more? Will they see more than a 45-point win rate?
Yes,
or 45%.
100%. I think that they're just going to score more points. Period. You know what I mean? The fact that they can do better actions, the fact that they can go through things, they're harder to move block, they can score better. I don't think they're the end all be all. They're not S tier or anything, but they're just better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big deal on that. Lisa Votan got absolutely no changes. We'll see what the infiltrating unit costs. Necrons. Doomstalkers went up 10. Wraiths went up 5. I think Necrons are still
that sounds
fine.
right. Yeah. I think Necrons are still A tier.
It's just it's still a really good army. A bunch of armies are coming out. It is what it is. Oh shit! Well, they went up. My bad. I was thinking the old price. My bad. OnePlus. They went up 5. Not exactly. So
they went up 30. Okay.
We knew the race were going to get hit. Fortunately, everybody was waiting for that. Orcs. Meganobs went up 10 points apiece. Boss Snickrock went up 10 points. Weird Boy went up. I don't know if this changes anything but the Bully Boys list, to be perfectly honest with you. Because we got no changes to anything. Sorry, Pain Boys went up. So if you're running my list, you did all right. If you're running other lists, it made a little bit better of a difference.
Oh, okay. Did you see what OnePlus Save said? So apparently they lost one of their units. I think that's the one with Meltaguns, the rates with Meltaguns, and they only have 18-inch lone op too. So that's actually a pretty big change.
And well, everybody's handling. They did that across the board.
Yeah, but it impacts them dramatically more, I think, because they heavily relied on it.
Correct. And I didn't go into the stuff that it's on a different sheet for all the stuff that got
Yeah.
Legends.
So I think orcs are fine.
Yeah, and they get a 5+, not a 4+. Come on. Reddit said orcs are dead now. Why not? I mean, I guess. I don't know why they're dead.
Those people are high.
I mean, my list.
I think between the new missions, I think orc board control and just being able to action everywhere and do stuff, I think orcs will be right up there with everybody else.
I mean, I lost 2 Meganobs in my entirety of my list, so I don't know.
Will you survive, Brad?
I probably will be all right. So, yeah, orcs are going to be fine. The green tide obviously got hit because of the rules. Points wise, the bully boys got hit if you were bringing somewhere between 15 and 18 Meganobs. You lost a decent amount of points, but everyone else did not. I'm glad that they didn't touch other stuff, to be honest with you. As somebody that's playing a lot of orcs, I was worried that they were going to hit it harder, and they did not, and I am perfectly okay with this.
Yeah, these are pretty gentle.
I would say these are pretty chill changes. Sometimes GW gets very heavy-handed, and I'm glad they're not. So, I think this is fine.
So Space Marines.
It's all good. Codex Space Marines. Hey, were you playing Ironstorm? Well, your list went up. There you go. That's what happened.
I'm not gonna lie though, Brad. Land Raider Redeemer for 285 is still worth it.
I'm not gonna lie. Here's the thing. I thought with the chaos points and seeing Marines, I really thought we were gonna see some point reductions in some of these Marine units. Because I'd like to see more than just Ironstorm, Blood Angels, and Space Wolves being played. And I was a little disappointed in that.
I mean, Sean Dice with Rice has been playing a couple different detachments, and all of the builds that he's been messing with weren't impacted at all, or negligible level of impact.
I mean, I can't say that because
I think there's builds. Space Marines weren't winning that much. I don't think it really justifies how heavy-handed the tank detachment was it.
Too strong. Exactly.
I mean, I would still take a Redeemer in a Space Marine list. It's still a fantastic unit for what it does.
It is what it is. Hey, the Repulsor went down, though. Repulsor went down and got the bigger capacity. Storm Raven got kicked in the face. I mean, Ironstorm basically got kicked in the face.
Yep.
So,
All
Space
right.
Wolves. I'm really surprised. We knew that Thunderwood Cav were going to go up. Yes. However, they didn't go up that much. And the thing is that Wolfen went up. And I was surprised that Wolfen went up because OC0. You know what I mean? OC0, you can't do actions. You can't take objectives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Andy pointed out you could give them sustain hits. You give them feel no pain now.
Oh, no, they still hit. Don't get me wrong. It's just I was surprised that they went up. I mean, I thought with their changes, because the way they talked about it, I mean, you already said it, they didn't really do anything about it, but they said that OC0 stuff was going to go down. So I thought that maybe Wolfen would either... I didn't even know if they go down. I just thought they just wouldn't get touched. You know what I mean?
I mean, Fenrisian Wolves are the same amount of points. I don't think we'll ever see those on the table again.
I mean, they're good for screening. If they went down in points,
they're exactly the same.
I know, I'm saying if they went down to like 20 or 4 points apiece. Also, 100% KR. I would, if what I thought that was going to happen is I thought we were going to see the characters go up, Thunderwolves go up, Wolfen either stay the same or go down. I'd like to see Wolf Scouts go back down.
So one thing that they did change, which we didn't go over, Space Wolves can no longer take Devastator squads. They can no longer take Apothecaries. And they can no longer take Librarian.
We've never been able to take Apothecaries.
No, it was only the Champions of Rust attachment. Now they clearly just stated, if you play Space Wolves, you cannot take these units.
Well, they were not supposed to take them in the first place. So
yeah, but that's not how it was worded.
Fine.
And the same thing with Black Templars. Like, you can't take, 6 of the same Lancer variant.
Sure, it took them freaking 6 months
to
figure.
It took them a year.
Sorry, a year to tell you the things that we already kind of knew. Hey, man, you know these things that you've never been able to take historically ever in the game? One of the things that makes you unique? Yes.
I mean, you say that, but Dark Angels magically gain Stern Guard for some reason, so.
You know what? You want another timeout? Is that what you want, Brandon? Is you want another timeout?
We're ready to talk about Tau, and I'm pretty excited about these.
You know who's excited about this?
This guy,
Mr. Brandon. You're probably going to be excited.
I'm excited about this.
You know what? Broadsides finally back on the table to talk about.
So I find it interesting how they approach this. They were clearly concerned about 3 broadsides scouting up and taking advantage of Monka benefits. So the 3 broadsides are 300 points, but a unit of 2 broadsides is 30 points cheaper than a unit of an Enforcer Commander with a Fire Knife suit. Puts out more missile shots because they have the smart missiles. They're more durable and they're 30 points cheaper. I think you'll see some 2 broadside units.
I think they're really good, man. I wanted to bring broadsides before, but at 110 points apiece, it was ouch.
Yeah.
But getting that huge reduction, and we got a 20-point reduction in every single Crisis Suit team.
Yep. And I'm telling you right now that Star Sights were good and worth it when they were 30 points more expensive with an Enforcer. Now, looking at these points, I will run 2 units of them.
I love the Fire Knives, so.
Yeah.
Fire Knives with the missiles, man.
Starsight battle suits with an Enforcer Commander rocking it at 210. Then you have your enhancement. Whew. I mean, that's spicy.
The good thing is we'll have to put this on the board though, because I think that this might actually put Retaliation back on the menu also, for at least something to consider. Because right now, they were definitely the 4th list, So
yeah. The crew detachment is now the 4th list. I think Retaliation has risen above the crew detachment because
remember you also have the ability for Farsight to now make not battle tactics -1. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
I just think that
Fire and Fade
Retaliation cadre is still the army-wide rule where you have to be within 6 inches to really take advantage of it.
True. And but Strike and Fade seems good.
Army, yeah, with the entire army wanting to be up that close and the prevalence of how many close combat armies are incoming, I just don't see it being that well.
I'll give you that. I still prefer Kion to myself. So
in my opinion, Kion detachment's still the best. This makes it even better. And I was making a list for a tournament I was going to this weekend. I ultimately decided not to change anything just because I was happy with where it was. Now with these points changes, you can do some very interesting things. I also think strike teams are worth considering now. 75 points for a unit that will just sit on your backfield and screen stuff out and do actions for you is not bad. I mean, it's only a 5-point difference, but
I love that Hammerhead just randomly got a point increase. Everybody else.
So it turns out that there's this guy in England who speaks the word of Hammerhead, and he encourages everyone to take Hammerheads over Skyrays.
Solomon Grundy?
Yep. He beat me, by the way. He's ahead of me now.
Yeah, take that. I told you Solomon Grundy was the truth.
So everyone's been moving to Hammerheads, and I think they've been moving to Hammerheads because of Ironstorm. But Skyrays are so much better than a Hammerhead, even now.
Agreed.
I would 100% take a Skyray over a Hammerhead, even
all
when it's cheaper.
Day long, all night, all night long. Okay.
So I'm excited about this. I was wishing the Kroot stuff to go down a little bit. Rampagers still feel very expensive at 220 for 6.
They're too much. They're too much.
They're fun though.
They're sure, fun. But they're still too much.
They're too much.
Those are not making it into any real list for me, in my opinion. So
if you took a Kroot detachment, they have a place. I would actually take 2 units of them in a Kroot detachment.
Thousand Suns got point reductions on 3 different things. They're very minimal.
Yeah. I think Thousand Suns are fine. I don't think those nerfs were heavy-handed by any means.
Let's talk about bugs then. Biovore went down. No one cares. We're not taking you, Biovore. Go back and sit in the corner.
So what does a Biovore do now that it doesn't auto score all your secondaries?
It shoots a spore that does nothing, or it tries to do a mortal wound to you, basically. It doesn't do anything.
So it's just not worth it whatsoever.
No. Neurolictor went up because it's amazing. River Swarms went up and down. You're not going to take 3-man units probably, so
and that's another one of those OC1 unit or
OC0. Yeah. So I think the buffs to their stuff, the strengths, and everything else. Turbigon went down. I like these guys. I got yelled at on our last stream for me gaslighting the Tyranid people, saying that they didn't need any changes. I do think they do, but they're still good. So,
well, they're in a much better spot now, and our resident Tyranid player Monic, he is excited as all belief. I think he's going to go win a GT this weekend or next.
They rock out.
Mm-hmm.
Vanguard bugs do look spicy. 100%. A lot of people lost Forge stuff.
Vanguard is the way to do it. I don't think Endless Swarm is viable now.
I do have to look and see. Somebody hit me up with a link to all the things that we just lost. Is it on the community page? Exalted 8-pound and a regular 8-pound and Exalted 8-pound both went down in price. I mean, World Eaters are already in a pretty good spot.
So they're now at their index level. And talking to Brian, who's the best World Eater player on ITC, he's very happy with it. He's able to run lists before, and he was successful even with the points increases, so he's pretty excited about that.
Yeah, these are legit. Oh, man.
All right. So we're an hour and 15 minutes in, and it feels like we've been talking for 2 years now.
Like and subscribe.
Between the balanced data slate, between the points, what's your top 3 best, top 3 worst?
Top 3 best, top 3 worst. Thousand Suns got hit. Just, I mean, not that the army's dead, but as far as like how hard they got hit. Green Tide got hit. People that got the best, I think Tyranids got some really good stuff there. Knights just moving through stuff has to make them one of the top 3, you know, in who got the best. So are you
doing top 3 most improved?
Top 3 most improved, and then top 3 like I hit the hardest.
Okay.
So Knights, Tyranids, Knights by just the fact that they can just movement is so key, you know what I mean? On this. Trying to think who else here got big gains.
I think Tau got big gains.
Tau got big, yeah. The thing is Tau got, I mean, between broadsides and crisis suits, if you're bringing those, you got an extra like 150, 200 points in your army. So that's legit.
It's not. I mean, it's not that much, right? It's probably closer to 50 to 60.
Oh yeah,
with most builds.
We blew off AdMech. AdMech got a full rebuild. You know what I mean? So we'll have to see on that though.
I mean, I personally think with the changes to pivot, the nerfing of all of the top tier armies that were dominating, I think Tau is in a really successful spot. Do I think they're S tier? No, not by any means, especially with the new missions focusing on close combat oriented armies. But I think they're in a really good spot. I think Blood Angels are also.
You know what? I'm gonna combat you right now. I do not think the sisters are going to be bad. You're high on Crackle King.
They're probably too pricey.
They're pricey, and they've got great rules. So I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, KR, that's my point. Blood Angels, Tau, Necrons to some extent, like they didn't get hit, so they're actually improving in their competitive nature.
I agree on that. That's what I was saying earlier. BA just kind of put the hat on and just put their head down and said nothing to see here. And
Black Templars too, because Black Templar, they had the Ironstorm variant, but they also had the close combat Vow variant.
The Righteous Crusaders, I think, got actually better by just nothing getting touched for the rest of their stuff. But they did get touched the last time. So I think that the sisters are going to be less of a chaff army and more of a, we have really good rules. Is this enough? And I think my initial thought is yes. But we'll see. You know what I mean?
I have concerns because, as Eloise eloquently points out every single time, it is a single wound toughness 3 model.
100%. But I'm already
And
kind of
if you
thinking.
can pick up your entire army with dumb shit or mortals, it's gonna feel bad.
The armies that are doing that are not as prevalent. Also, indirect is worse. You can't double and triple move with things like Thousand Suns. You know what I mean? So they're not getting the same angles they were before. So you have a little bit more ability to hide, and you can use your superior movement to get to where you need to go.
I just think like all the Miracle Dice shenanigans that everybody was planning on doing, you just cannot do that in this list. You don't have enough trash to make that happen.
Oh, you're gonna get some miracles. You know who's giving it to you? X gonna give it to you, but also Captain.
All right. So what's next? Do we want to talk about FAQs? Do we want to talk about the core rules commentary? Do we want to talk about the mission packet? I think the mission packet's actually very fascinating too.
What changed in the mission packet?
Well, here, I'm pulling it up right now.
We already had missions. Nothing happened in the missions.
No, but it's a tournament packet, Brad. So it explains the order of operations.
I've got that right there. Ready? Pariah Nexus Tournament Companion.
So some big things here. One, you can cycle out more than one card per game.
Correct. We already knew that, though.
Yeah. Two, something that was expressly talked about in all the FAQs, they streamlined the redeploy abilities. So there were some armies that did it before the winner of the first turn was determined. Some armies did it
that was
afterwards.
banana pants.
No, now it's nerfed. Now all redeploy happens before the first turn.
Yeah, well, it's all, and it also starts with the attacker. It's just like scout moves.
Mm-hmm. It's scout before knowing what's happening.
Correct.
So some units like the Trail Shaper is pointless now.
So all of the things are some of the stuff.
And I will, so they changed the card where people are like, well, I'll just take 19 orcs instead of 20.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
but
they physically said, no, you can't.
I literally called that and just said there's no chance that they don't immediately tell you that. So that is Cull the Horde. Now, what Brandon's talking about is that the original said starting strength, it was effectively you get 5 points if you kill a unit that had 20 or more models or 25 wounds. And now it says the starting strength of the destroyed unit was 20 plus, and also it says when that unit player added that unit to their army, the point value they subtracted from the total permitted for the battle was sufficient for that unit to be composed of 20 or more models. So basically, if you brought a 19-man Lloyd squad, you were still giving up Cull the Horde, period.
Mm-hmm. They clarified hidden supplies. I always had some questions about where the objectives go. So now that's been clarified.
Now it's just not straight up set, because most tournaments had it just splitting and going. Yeah. Now it does not.
It looks like recover assets you can't take as a fixed secondary, and assassination, it's character models, not units.
I'll go back up here for a second on this, because assassination, this is a big deal, because if you kill something like Celestine's Gemini, you just straight up get 5 points. Recover assets, it's amazing. It's super easy. They made so many really easy to do secondaries. So it's a big deal. Recover assets as a fix was just laughably easy. You know what I mean? That's why. They don't have the key. I thought the Gemini don't have. I think the whole unit had the key, the character keyword.
They might have changed it.
I'd have to look. They used to. So, missions themselves, Scorched Earth is significantly different in the fact that you just basically get 5 points each time you burn one, 10 points for burning your opponent's home.
So the other big thing that I really like in this packet is they clearly delineate what the expectation is, and they made it visibly easy to tell the difference between the two. So instead of 4 layouts for GW, there's now 8 layouts. And I think this is a big deal for you and me, Brad, because we're going to ATC, and these 4 new layouts are nothing like the ones that they planned on using, and they're probably going to use these instead.
Let's go down to the new layout.
Like, I'm looking at layout number 8.
Well, let's go all the way down, because we already know what 1, 2, 3, and 4 are. That's what we've been playing on the entire season.
layout 8 and playing a shooting army is terrifying.
I mean, 5 also is just, there's just, how about we just talk about the fact that you can drive a bus through here? 3 and 4 are different? Oh, they did change 4. Jesus. 4 looks fantastic. That comes from someone that wants to put his guys all up in your grill. 3 is all good too.
3 looks the same.
No, it used to have the pieces that met on the bottom here.
1 and 2 are only returning ones. 4 is now 1. 3 is now 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then 5 is a shooting gallery. 6 is, oh, this is pretty heavy. 6 is pretty heavy.
7 and 8, like, I do not want to play my Tau tankless on 7 and 8. Holy cow.
You've got some pretty long lanes going across the diagonal here, though.
On 7, but look at 8.
I think you got more lanes than you think you're going to, because those are small pieces. That's the same feel that 8 is the same thing as Thunderdome is right now, which is 1. In the fact that you'd be surprised how often you can just dip your tank slightly over, either side and shoot.
Yeah, the donut of death is gone. Sorry, guys.
The donut of death. I love just being called the donut of death.
But yeah, I mean, if these get adopted by ATC, this is going to be a dramatic change.
Well, they're going to use 1 through 8. That's what they're going to use. They're going to use all 8.
Yeah, what I'm saying before, Brad, is they used the old GW 1 through 4, then they used the 5 through 8 were the Art of War special. The Art of War special doesn't exist anymore. So there's 6 new maps here. That's a pretty substantial difference.
I've already memorized them and I'm on it. Oh, sorry. I was going to not laugh for 4 seconds before I said that. Let's go over the highlights of the rules commentary. There's 33 pages. I'm just not trying to find each and everything. What do we want to talk about?
Well, each army was FAQ too, so there's a whole bunch of stuff there that
not going there.
We're not doing that.
Don't care anymore with that. Yes, it is nice that they give you the measurements, which was ridiculous that we had the vague hammer.
Let's see.
What are the biggest changes? Should I Reddit this? Obviously, we have.
In my mind, the biggest change in this packet is the pivot rule.
Pivot's a big deal. G, you've got multiple people that can go through walls now. You've got what else?
Indirect fire, Brad. So
indirect fire once you
indirect fire received a big change, and what it is, so guard, like a basilisk, if it stayed stationary and then received an order, they had the potential of hitting on 2 even with indirect. Now it clearly states that an unmodified hit roll of 1 to 3 always fails.
It's a big deal.
So that means your whirlwinds, your desolators, your exorcists, your smart missiles, they only hit on a 4 or better.
And yeah, the changes that we already talked about, the free strats and the fact, 100%. I was just talking about the stuff in the commentary itself.
Yeah. What's also interesting there too is there's no cutout, I believe, that says if you can see the unit, there's no penalty. So like if my Skyray is shooting its smart missiles at something it could clearly see, roll of a 3 still fails because it has the indirect keyword.
Yep, it doesn't give you any plus on that.
Yeah. They changed how firing deck works along with units interacting with it. So you can't disembark your eliminators, shoot your eliminators, embark on the transport, and then shoot the las cannons off firing deck. That's a very niche case, but they got rid of it.
They did show that you can move stuff that can't fit as long as the base can fit. Yeah. This is a big deal. So I was trying to find that picture real quick. So that's a big deal because you couldn't before. If you couldn't fit, you just couldn't fit. Obviously, pivots. I love that they don't show any of the things that can abuse pivoting in here. Boo.
They're going to find out the hard way.
Yep. I mean, just, yep. Firing deck.
So another big change that I noticed was tank shock. So tank shock was based on the vehicle's strength, and if the strength was higher than the toughness of the unit that was charged, you get +2 dice. So
It's
you were having
huge
cases
for Eldar now.
cases of where like 22 dice were being rolled in like the Lancer. Now it's based on the vehicle's toughness, and there's no bonus dice. So Commander Farsight went from having 12 dice generally with tank shock to 5. But units like Rhinos and Eldar and Piranhas and Hammerheads and Riptides, they all go up. So I actually think tank shock overall is a better stratagem.
I mean, it's much different, to be honest with
you. They clarified grenade, where it's you cannot do it if you advance, you cannot do it if you fall back. Because you could do grenade when falling back or advancing prior. Command reroll, they also fixed. You can do it while speed rolling, and it clearly states that like if you roll 10 dice and you say, I'm going to CP one of these fails, you can do it. And that's a big deal too, Brad, because if you have a hot roll and you just try to keep one more guy alive, you can just pick and roll it.
True story.
So apparently heroic is only 1 CP instead of 2.
Yep, heroic and thing also saves. They basically straight up said that they can't be 1-up.
Yep.
So,
they rapid ingress has finally been clarified that it works for deep strike. I always assumed it was, but now it clearly states it.
I do love the fact that they had to clarify that AP can't be less than 0. Did someone think that they were adding armor saves onto things? Like, I fired some spackle at your vehicle and it fixed it.
People are... So, for what I was told, a lot of FAQ questions were submitted for this, and they actually reviewed a lot of them, and somebody was trying to take advantage of it, so they submitted a question about it. So, I'm glad that a lot of it's been clarified. There are some things they missed, though, which I don't really understand how they missed that.
Yeah,
like Azrael still can't join Company of Heroes.
Yeah, cool. You were really stuck on that. You really want Azrael there.
No, he used to be able to. Now he can't. Like it's silly.
It's a big.
He's better at help.
It's a big old deal.
Anyways. I don't really care. I'll never take Company Heroes.
I was just about to say, are you ever going to take Company Heroes?
No, I'll take Hellblasters.
Beast can also move through terrain. Well done. Beast, infantry, and Primarchs. So, anyway, who's falling back and doing anything else? Yeah.
Let's see. Out of phase rules, you can't use big guns never tire for Overwatch. So they clarified that.
Well, it's only in a shooting phase period. I mean, it literally states that. So I don't know why that was ever a thing.
Yeah, but they're clarifying it, Brad, because somebody tried to do it, you know?
That's a big deal on that KR. Fast rolling, I hated when someone was like, well, if you want to do a reroll, you have to fast dice. Or you can't fast dice. I'm like, I'm not rolling these 600 saves one at a time. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Well, and it gives you a little bit more leverage. It makes it more valuable. So, like, if you roll 10 dice and you see 5 ones, well, your character's probably dead. But if you roll 10 dice and you only see 2 ones, it may be worth it.
But it's also just not taking forever. It's just not fun to watch somebody roll one dice.
It speeds up the game.
Yeah.
Because there were plenty of times when I was playing against Sean Dice with Rice when I would have Miracle Dice and Command rerolls and all sorts of stuff.
No. Loudly for the $5 super chat. I'll never take Company Heroes translates to I'm never playing Marines again.
I actually I played a game using my Outriders. So I had 18 Outriders and 12 Black Knights, and I actually really enjoyed it. It was a fun list. Maybe I'll bring that out for a tournament.
All of the things, some of the stuff. All right.
So what do you think? Has your head exploded yet?
I'm calling it. I'm tapping out. I got more stuff I have to do. And this is so long. I was scrolling through things that I wanted to point out, and then I realized that it was 33 pages again. When I looked at that this morning, I was just like, there's no change log. and there's still 33 pages. Lame. I'm
There
going
is
log.
a change. There is a change log. It's a little plus symbol, Brad.
Got it. Why not?
I also like the clarifications that are randomly thrown in here. The addition of immediately.
Ooh,
See just after.
hold on. This is now my favorite one. Probability Kevin, $2 super chat. Go blue, go moo, plus lore cats. Oh. So all of the things, some of the stuff. What are you going to be working on this week on stillfrostygaming.com.org.gov?
So I decided to be financially irresponsible and super spontaneous. And I was invited to go up to the Ottawa Team Championship this weekend. So tomorrow I'm jumping on a flight. I'm driving 3 hours away to Nashville to jump on a flight to go to Ottawa and playing 5 rounds in a team tournament using the old rules and trying out my Tau, and then flying back at 5:30 in the morning on Monday. That's my deeply financially irresponsible play of the week. But I'm excited. I haven't played in a tournament in Canada. It's a team tournament, so it's instantly more fun. And I'll have a good time. It'll be a good send off for this
old edition
version of 10th edition.
10.0. So hold on, we got a super chat.
It'll be a good serve off. Go ahead.
Lyle coming in with a $2 super chat. Go blue, go Mew, and go blue, go moo, go Mew. Jesus, you're breaking my brain with that one.
Dyslexic there a little bit. So hot take. So we got a little bit still. What are you most happy with, and what are you most like, oh, this is annoying?
I still wish the inside vehicle transport rules were just different. That's just something I don't like about the edition. I haven't liked the last 2 editions, to be perfectly honest. But I'm happy that my orcs dodged most of or at least the particular orcs I was playing, dodged most of the things, because I've been really enjoying playing the orcs. And also the fact is I'm very close to having my army painted by me. So I would like to have it painted before it can get nerfed right afterwards. I need to play one tournament where I have all of the models painted by myself, and then they can crush my army. But
and now you got 2 less mega nubs to paint, Brad.
They were already painted. I finished those up last week. Damn it. I definitely care. They did not fix fly. Fly keyword is just a detriment for anything that's not infantry, which is kind of bullshit. I love the fact that they showed you how to do actions, who can do actions, specifically said when, where, and how you can do actions. I like the new missions. I don't know how I feel about new sweeping advance as a deployment. Obviously we have to play on the tables.
I don't think the old one was that difficult to measure out, so I don't know why they changed it for the sake of changing it.
No idea. I don't like
I feel like it's infinitely more complex to measure out now than the last one was.
It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that they're still working on trying to bring up the bottom. Did they do enough for AdMech? I don't know, but I do enjoy the fact that they changed mechanics, because points just don't do it, And they didn't. I don't think they hit anything that hard this time, and that was a huge boom. I mean, I think it's a big, big deal that they didn't just demolish armies. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a big deal also. So those are the big things that I'm happy with. That they didn't crush anything. They've been trying to be very proactive to answer questions right here in the rules commentary and stuff like that. So I'm sure that'll add to even more questions. It's a complex ass game, but we'll see.
So you were saying last fall, like last October timeframe, that the game is starting to finally feel like a polished game. I think with all these changes, now it actually feels polished, because there was a lot of just subtle interactions that you could abuse, and it just didn't feel fun. And then now they're clearly cutting it down, and they're clearly stating this is how you do it. This is why you do it. You know, they're just specifically specifying the things that work and how they should work. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the addition or the tournament packet. I feel like it's spelled out way better. It's more clear. It's more interesting and varied. And I'm excited to try out those new missions with the tournament packet. I would like to see them overlay the terrain based on the deployment zones, but that's just me being nitpicky. I feel like if they're going to go through all the effort of, hey, this is where, you know, this terrain's supposed to be, then why don't we also get a free overlap of where the objective should be, where the terrain should be, or where the deployment zones are in relationship to the terrain. I don't think they'll ever do that, but I would like to see it.
Yeah, I get that. That's where you go to TTS, my friend.
Yeah, it just means someone else has to do it.
True story.
I'm very happy with Tau. I think Tau are definitely up there. I think Blood Angels, Black Templar are also up there. Orcs, I think, are fine. Actually, a lot of the close combat armies feel pretty strong right now. I don't think any of them were hit pretty hard.
Agreed on that. I think Space Wolves escaped without getting crushed. I was worried that Wolfjail was going to get smoked.
So it went up 60 points.
It's
not really that much.
Yeah.
It's Tina Scouts.
Yeah, it's just that's I thought that there was the potential that just got literally crushed.
Yeah.
So
and for some reason, Thunderwolves are still cheaper than Kroot Rampagers. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Stuff those Kroot Rampagers into the corner where they belong. Tonight I'm talking about lore. I got Barsati coming on with me, my partner in crime. So it'll be Brian, I, and Barsati talking about the differences between Marine lore and Marine on the table. And it's pretty big. We're going to talk about which is the biggest.
I mean, it's been pretty big since like 2nd edition.
Yeah, but there's certain things that are just ridiculous, you know what I mean? I mean, I'll rant about it because everybody shits on me about this because they keep giving me shit about the fact that Marines can get poisoned. Just pisses me off to no end. They have 3 organs and like 4 systems in the power armor that filter out poisons. It's like, how? Exactly.
Super advanced poison that goes through armor.
All of the things, some of the stuff. I'm actually excited to play. The game has some changes, and a lot of the small changes I think are a big deal. Like the strat changes and stuff like that, ain't great.
So how does your ATC team change? I know you guys had some locked in lists, and you're doing a lot of practicing. Do you know what armies you're kind of leaning towards for ATC?
Yeah, we're still gonna go. We'll probably go with the changes to demons. We'll probably dump Death Guard and go demons. So we'll do demons, orcs. Why did I completely forget my team immediately? Demons, orcs, Tau, probably sisters still, and then I forget everybody else that's on my team. It's for some unknown reason.
I think Daniel's gonna be taking Dark Eldar.
Horus got poisoned by literally like an epic weapon. It wasn't like he got poisoned because they put like spoiled chicken in his KFC. And the pre-Nurgle Death Guard were only getting poisoned by, like, they weren't even getting poisoned by poison.
Hey,
yeah, I guess you're like technically correct, the best kind of correct.
Super poison. It's like super AIDS.
They're just not. I am definitely comparing the most advanced poisoners in the galaxy to spoiled chicken, because that's what it should be for the Marines. They should be like, my tummy's upset. I'm going to take some Pepto, then I'm going to kick your ass.
That's the problem. They left their Pepto at home. So I think on that note, thank you everybody for joining us. Brad should 100% probably like make this video chapterized so people could click along and see what they want to talk about.
That means I'll have to do this later.
probably tomorrow.
But COVID 21,657. I hate when I get a bad case of that. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. As always, stay milky. Queensway.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.